We'll get into that though, Stephen. You know.
Hello and welcome into this Wednesday's edition of Movie News here at MB. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and of course our Twitch stream. I'm one of your co-hosts, Stephen John McLaughlin, our other co-host, John C. Walsh. How you doing, John?
I'm doing alright, Stephen, yes. That was a very slow reaction there. That's clearly the signs of a man whose brain is wilted.
It's almost like the World Cup in 1986 in Mexico when you were live from London and live from Mexico City. That slight delay. That's what it was like. But we're not. We're right next to each other. John's not in Mexico City. But anyway.
I was just processing how I felt.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel good.
Well, John,
I feel good.
How do you feel about this? Henry Cavill. Yeah, that's the name.
Cable.
Superman's return rumoured. That's the official announcement this week, question mark. That is coming in from Screen Rant, John. It's all over social media at the moment. Everyone's talking about it, as you can believe. Henry Cavill's trending, Superman's trending, Superman Returns is trending. What that would be a great title if they can do that. Or maybe The Man of Steel Returns. That would be a good title as well, wouldn't it? But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting really excited, John. But I'm going to read this article out, and then you
the Man of Steel.
Your thoughts. It looks like he's crying there. It looks like that's actually paining him in that picture. But anyway, a new report claims Henry Cavill is rumoured to appear at Warner Brothers Hall
just a rumour.
Panel at SDCC 2022 to announce plans for his Superman to return to the DCEU. Wow.
Incidentally, Pav, we're doing well.
Thank you.
It saddens my soul to hear that you have a bad fever.
Oh dear.
There is nothing worse.
No, definitely not.
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m, that's horrendous. That's the worst time to have any fever. Yeah.
Yep.
When all your thoughts in your head and all that. I'm not helping them. But anyway, Henry Cavill's Superman return will reportedly be announced during the star's appearance at San Diego's Comic-Con 2022 as part of Warner Bros. And DC Films Hall H panel. Cavill first played Clark Kent in 2013's Man of Steel, where he has helped launch the DC Extended Universe with Zack Snyder. Still don't believe that. His Superman returned in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice and both cuts of Justice League, despite a strong contingent of viewers loving Cavill's Superman. The studio controlling the Man of Steel's big screen adventures have left the future in the air. The question now is, will Henry Cavill Superman return at Comic-Con 2022? Now, John, before I let you in,
San Diego
I do remember the studio saying that a character like Superman, Henry Cavill Superman, Man of Steel, has to hit the ground running, and they didn't believe that he could hit the ground running with a sequel. Do you remember we talked about that?
Yes, I do. It required momentum.
It was preposterous, officer. Yeah.
Superman required momentum. That was what the Warner Brother executive, an unnamed source, stated that the Warner Brother executive was saying a couple of years ago. He requires momentum. This was around the time where we seen his chest and what he said at the end of Shazam. Because Henry Cavill flat out refused to turn up on set of a Shazam movie.
Yeah.
And show his chest off. He's like, I ain't doing that, bitch. So they got a double in.
Yeah.
Because he needed momentum. Stephen, we says at the time, Superman is one of the greatest comic book characters ever created. He's right up there with Spider-Man, Batman, Iron Man. I think he's bigger than Iron Man.
Yep.
The Hulk. All of these incredible characters that generations grew up with reading these graphic novels. He's right up there. He is the zenith of comic book characters. Any movie adaptation with a competent actor, and Henry Cavill is more than competent. He's a brilliant actor. They do not require fucking momentum. Ever.
No, exactly.
They do not need momentum.
John,
that is nonsense. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever read or heard in my life.
Do you know who needs momentum? The studio needs momentum.
When was the last shut down, Steve?
When was the last DCEU film? When was it?
The last DCEU movie
was Wonder Woman.
Was Wonder Woman 1984.
And that was delayed by 2 years as well. But apparently the panel was suggesting that it was the Black Adam and Shazam promotions of their next films. But obviously this report's come in terms of Henry Cavill's return.
I don't think Parv is suggesting that he's gay. He's just suggesting that if Henry Cavill, I don't know what Parv's suggesting. He's suggesting that Henry Cavill will he's that good looking that he sometimes makes him question his sexuality. I'm like, that's absolutely fine.
It's an appreciation.
It's an appreciation of what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Look, this is absolutely fine, man. Nothing wrong with that.
John, Henry Cavill
Just what
doesn't
I had
turn
to
up.
I'm defending Parthia.
Henry Cavill doesn't turn up.
Hello, Matthew, by the way.
Henry Cavill doesn't turn up. What happens?
If he doesn't turn
What
up,
an
Stephen,
anticlimax.
if he doesn't turn up, Stephen, then we just move on and rekit. Stephen, I think what DC and Warner Brothers, what's maybe put this in motion, is the success of Robert Pattinson's Batman and the sort of other success, the buzz surrounding Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck coming back for the Flash movie. I think they realised in that instance you can have 3 iterations of the one character in
exactly.
2 different movies, and it doesn't cannibalise. There is enough of a distinction. They can be enjoyed independently. We're going to get another Superman. J.J. Abrams' studio, Bad Robot, I believe, Productions, is working in tandem with a potential recast or just a reboot of another Superman in another universe. It's going to be a black Superman by all accounts. Potentially Michael B. Jordan coming
Why
in.
not?
Young up and coming black director doing it. This will be an Earth 2.
As long as it's not J.J. Abrams.
No, he's not. He's just producing it.
His
And
studio.
he can produce, to be fair.
Game of Family, we're from Scotland, by
We're
the
from
way.
Scotland, yes. So, Stephen, I think obviously with the success of Batman, they now realise that they can utilise multiple versions. With the Snyder cut out, Pattinson doing his thing, Michael Keaton. We can have Cavill come back as this version of Kal-El. We can have the other one in the other universe doing its thing, and they can both live harmoniously. I would love to see Henry Cavill come back. I've been shouting my mouth off.
I think it's time, John,
years
the
about this
studios or the films for these comic books realise that and start to do what the comic books do, and they have different, obviously, authors, artists telling stories of the same character at the same time.
Yeah.
Different series. There's nothing to say that you can't do that with film. You've got to understand, and you've got to give your audience credit, and assume that they're bright sparks. We can handle it.
Some of us.
We can handle it, and we don't get confused. I mean, even if you want to call it year fucking 2 Batman or whatever, I don't care. That's the series. Or if you want to call it the Matt Reeves run or whatever, I don't care. We can handle it. Give us more of the same, please. Give us more of these characters, different iterations, different actors, different scenarios, different stories, different locations, different look, tone, feel, everything. We can handle it. We love the content. We want more of it. This whole thing boxing themselves in, Warner Brothers and DC, try to replicate what obviously Marvel have done.
No studio
they did not have to do that in any case. Their characters were big enough, large and loud enough. And in fact, some might say Batman and Superman are bigger than anything Marvel have got anyway.
Oh, they are, Stephen. Look, we've maintained this. Marvel have probably the greater catalogue of interesting characters. But in terms of the sort of titanic figures, the main players, I think DC have the more interesting titanic characters. Batman, Superman.
And the better villains.
Better villains, Joker. Bane. The Riddler, when he's done right. They have the more compelling, and obviously you've got Selena Kyle, this in-between grey character. Your Falcones.
Your Lex Luthors.
Your Lex Luthors. They have the more interesting.
If you cast them right this time.
And Stephen, there's this sort of difference between Marvel and DC where they don't have to follow in the footsteps of Marvel. They don't have to do an extended universe because DC's always been darker, more, I don't know, not malevolent, but more dramatic, darker in tone. Marvel's always been a sort of airy, spandex, Marvel humour kind of thing, multi-demographic. To me, I think of DC growing up, I think of Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer. And as a young kid, those movies had an impact on me. They were dark. You ain't getting that with Marvel. So DC, just do your own thing. Don't worry about standalone or cinematic universes. Standalone movies will function absolutely fine.
Do you think, though, John, bringing Cavill back again? No.
Scotland
Becky.
and England, same country.
No. We are not the same. We're not. I don't know where you're from, Becky. Let us know where you're from, and we'll do a comparison and see how offended you will be when we make a. We're not offended or anything like that. I love England, John. Actually, as a country, it's an absolutely amazing country. But we're Scottish. We are different.
Yeah, I mean,
we're all under the United Kingdom, but we are different.
I've got relatives that stay in England. I've got obviously got ancestry going back to England. It's a great country in its own way. But
and your man, Henry Cavill's English.
He's English. Most of our heroes are English.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Let's be honest.
They are. Yeah, they are.
They are. They're English.
The Beatles.
The Beatles. Actors, Gary Oldman, Alec Guinness, David Bowie.
If Henry Cavill does come back, though, John, isn't that just going to kind of bring us back into this old DCEU again?
No,
is this something that you really want to continue? Because 3 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, he needs to come back. We've already lost Affleck. And it was like trying to salvage something that was like, putting a band-aid over a gunshot wound, and it was just hemorrhaging.
Over a sliced artery.
Yeah,
as we've seen last night.
And now, obviously, with Ezra Miller, he's out the door. He's done. Another sort of original character from that original DCEU.
Stephen, I think it's been dead and buried anyway.
Yeah.
They started this with Aquaman, really. Aquaman, it's kind of, to me, it disconnected from itself from the DCEU. Wonder Woman with Patty Jenkins, it kind of went off and more standalone in its nature. Also, there was some tiny little connective tissues.
The Bruce Wayne
stuff. But they've been independent anyway, so you continue with Jason Momoa as Aquaman, there's no issues. You can continue with Gal Gadot or Do if you want to. You can certainly continue with Cavill for a couple of movies. The man is getting on in years now. Let's not beat about the bush. He's in his 40s or something now.
I mean, you're talking 9 years since the last film, Man of Steel. Almost by the time, if this is true and this comes out, it's going to be over a decade, John.
You need to remember,
and he isn't still some. It's fantastic.
He is, and it does look good for his age. But Superman is meant to be this sort of eternally youthful alien being who doesn't age the same as humans.
Yeah.
The weakness of soul is what gives him his powers, because he's not extraordinary. I mean, I'm blanking on the name of the planet that Superman's from.
I rake. It's Krypton.
Krypton. Why did I forget that? He's not extraordinary there. None of them are.
No.
Because they have been born on that planet with obviously gravity being what it is there. He comes to Earth.
Yeah, and he uses the Earth's sun.
Yeah, and he can obviously, that gives him his power in many ways. So you can't have a 50-year-old Superman. So you've got a very small window here if you want to bring Henry Cavill back. It could be one movie and done.
If you're looking at the long game, yeah, exactly. If it's a one and done, then bring him back. Just let him have his second film, please, for the love of God.
Rick said Henry Cavill was sexy as if.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I remember the women going mental for this guy constructing a PC a couple of years ago. It was during lockdown.
That's when his arms like that, John.
He bought he bought the PC in parts and built it, and it was like he was showing off the biceps. People are losing their fucking minds on social media. So yeah, he's popular as Henry. He's a great actor as well, let's be honest. He is a great actor. Stephen, we've both been huge fans of Man of Steel for years now. There's been this huge contrarian opinion about Man of Steel that it's not that great a movie. I personally loved it. You had Michael Shannon, Kevin Costner in there. It was a brilliant Superman movie. It was darker. That's Zack Snyder's tone done perfectly for me. When he starts getting off into the ensemble realms and not really earned it. At that point, I understand he had great visions for the DCEU.
I kind of guess that Warner Brothers have pushed that along, John. I don't think Zack Snyder himself, was wanting to do it in the fashion they did it. Warner Brothers saw what Marvel were doing and went, "Oh, we want a piece of that. Do it like that. Please do it like that." Before we actually established the other characters, the Wonder Woman, as you said, Aquaman, Batman. Batman's still not, well, obviously the Robert Pattinson one is a standalone film, but the actual Ben Affleck one, he's not a standalone Batman film, which is a shame.
Yeah. Parth says, I say bring it on. I want more DCEU. I think with Marvel missing the mark with the current phase, DCEU might have a chance if they make the right moves. I agree. Marvel, by all accounts, they aren't really doing the business they were doing before.
Yeah.
And look, that's to be expected. You've lost some huge personalities there. Just actors.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson. That's huge. That's the sort of paternal and maternal figures of that cinematic universe gone.
Yeah.
In a couple of clicks of the finger. And then the characters are huge characters. Iron Man, Captain America. Black Widow and Natasha Romanoff, they're huge characters to lose. And you're going off into a new generation, new era, post-Infinity Saga. There's always going to be teething problems. I still fully believe that Kevin Feige and Marvel will get it right and we will do something special.
I think this phase is a transitional period, John, more than anything.
Yeah.
It's again establishing characters that haven't been introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet. But I think they will get there. But I think it's going to have to take a lot for the Disney Plus stuff, and obviously the films going forward coming out as well. I think they will get it right. I mean, they've not really made a lot of mistakes so far. It's a lot of people felt this phase has been underwhelming. And I get that because, as you said, you're losing big names in the previous phase, and they've had to really reset things in a little way.
And they're balancing TV content with movies as well now.
Well, this is
it,
you know. So they're not knocking everything out as rapid as it used to be. And the pandemic obviously set things up back a bit as well. But I think they will get there. John, you like Shang-Chi.
I love Shang-Chi.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
the Eternals, I didn't like.
Still not seen it.
I just felt it didn't feel like a Marvel film at all. It's a standalone film. It's okay. It's an interesting story enough, but there's no connectivity there in terms of the bigger picture. And I'm trying to think of the other ones that come out. Black Widow. Black Widow was good. Yeah, it was decent, John. But it was more of a throw the dog a bone. I'm not calling Scarlett Johansson a dog or anything like that.
She certainly is
but
not.
She's certainly not. But it was really just a sort of, you know, we're killing you off, but we'll give you a standalone film.
And we'll give you Florence Pugh, who's also not a dog. Pretty good looking. Another one, right? Not as good as Scarlett, to be fair.
Yeah.
In every level. But hey ho. Good actor.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
obviously, was okay as well, John.
Doctor Strange,
Multiverse of Madness was okay. It wasn't. I think we went into that on the back of Spider-Man No Way Home, thinking we were going to get a lot of callbacks to nostalgia with obviously the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, and we kind of got that in a sense, but it was quickly taken away from us as well. I don't want to spoil it for you, John.
Still never seen it.
I'm sure you'll get there. And then Thor, Love and Thunder, mixed reviews. A lot of people loving it, loving the humour, loving the fact that they're taking it in another direction away from Ragnarok, something a wee bit more out there, which a lot of people will like. Some people, more the traditionalists, won't like. It's maybe too Taika Waititi, if that makes any sense. I don't know, but that's what we like, John. We like Taika. It's
not possible. I'm going to see that movie this week, 100%.
Did you like America Chavez's character in Doctor Strange? I did actually.
Yeah,
normally when they do that, I don't like it. It's almost like the kid in The Mummy Returns kind of thing, and I don't like that when they do that and introduce a young character into an established sort of.
Am I right in saying she was the sort of conduit to the multiverse? She was aware of the multiverse, and she was almost.
She can jump. She can, yeah.
She was teaching Strange.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. What do you guys think of WandaVision? Loved it. Yeah. John, it's still my favourite. It is still my favourite.
Agatha Harkness, I think it was.
Yeah.
Agnes.
Yeah, Agnes,
Catherine Hahn, I thought she was Hahn, wasn't it?
Yep.
Brilliant actor. I really enjoyed the zaniness of WandaVision.
I've
enjoyed the TV
I love
content.
Loki. I did love Loki, John. I didn't think I would. It took me by surprise, but still WandaVision's the top spot for me in the Disney Plus stuff.
I need to watch Moon Knight. I've been a disgrace this year with Marvel content. I really have. Wow. This is probably the worst run I've ever had with Marvel.
Yeah, it's John, I think since we've introduced our watch-alongs, we've kind of fell by the wayside. But
it's terrible, yeah.
I think we'll have a wee break from the watch-alongs at some point. John needs a break as well. He's absolutely working around the clock to get these out. And people are going, we need 3-4 a week. Yeah, that's fine, you know. But he's got a job to do during the day. He's got to make a living. So,
and I've got a dog.
Yeah.
He's already... looking at me as if, really?
But John, I think maybe after Sacred Games, to have that little break. Enjoy some MCU content. Anyway,
but getting back, man. I mean,
let's get back.
This sort of little road, I don't know what you'd call it. Block? Is it a block? I don't know. Hiccup from Marvel may open the door for DC. We may see if they can hit the ball out the park with Black Adam. And which team? We'll bring it up briefly, man. I've got this little article that connects into. I mean, it's San Diego Comic Con. I think it's this weekend. Is it?
Yeah, it's normally weekend. Yeah,
it's coming up. You're going to see the content coming up. The most recent, I mean, Henry Cavill popping in, revealing he's coming back potentially. That's not going to be this year. or even next year. It could be 2 years down the road before we see that.
Yep.
But there is other DC content coming out, and I'll try and come down to the DC side of things. They're not even fucking got to have. They've got to.
Yeah.
It's got to be Black Adam.
Wow, it's like 2 paragraphs. That's shocking.
Yeah, but I mean,
Not much to talk about.
Yeah, they're doing that with all of them.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's going to be Black Adam, isn't it? You're going to get Aquaman 2. A lot of people switching off from that because the third's in there. Flash. How do you promote Flash with a guy who's literally on the run after grooming a 14-year-old girl?
Yeah.
They've got their hands full, Warner Brothers.
For the wrong reasons.
At least 2 of the 3 movies which are on the immediate horizon, a lot of controversy surrounding them. I love Dwayne Johnson personally.
Yeah.
I think Black Adam's looking very,
It
very
does,
promising.
John, it looks
Shazam
very
as well. Shazam's coming
we
out.
loved the first one, didn't we? I think we didn't review it. I think we actually covered it on one of the news shows.
Yeah,
And we were just talking about it for the whole show. I think
it was funny as hell. Yeah,
it was amazing. Yeah.
Zachary Levi is,
Yeah.
and the kids, man, they've had to de-age the kids and do the shit they were doing.
Are they doing that? Yeah, they're doing that.
Yeah, I think they've grown, so they have to. They actually, I mean, it's like Tom Cruise with all of his wives.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's not with anyone just now, is he?
Tom?
Yeah.
God, he's like Henry VIII, isn't he?
I'm
don't
surprised Tom's going
He's-
through a bit of a baron.
I think his life has became a little bit more private than it used to be, John. To be fair to
Yeah.
him, I think he's maybe just wanting a bit of privacy.
Well, he has to get out of Scientology then. Because,
John? Becky says Christian Bale versus Ben Affleck versus Robert Pattinson. Whose Batman is best? We've had this.
I mean, it's
Batman.
Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that one. You know that?
It's still Bale for me, John. It's still
'cause
Bale.
Pattinson was just all Batman, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Really? But very formative stages, quite clunky.
Yeah.
I liken him to George Harrison in the first 2 Beatles albums. He was good, but he
Yeah.
was clunky, and his best years were still to come. And that's the same with Pattinson. Affleck was just let down with
Yeah.
the movies really he was in.
He was Eric Clapton on the White Album. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Bale for me, absolutely. It still has to be Bale.
Yeah.
Because just Bale for Nearly Olive, the character really. I don't want to go into it. I seem to go into it every time we speak
Just
about
love
Batman.
Christian Bale.
But he's like, Batman's like 3 characters.
Yeah.
He's Bruce Wayne, he's Batman the Vigilante, and then somewhere in between is the 2 schizophrenic versions come together and they form another character.
Who is best playing a schizophrenic character than Christian Bale?
That's my point. He's almost the best of all of them, really. But he had
No, Alan. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Huey Lewis in the news. Yeah.
And here comes the axe.
Yep.
I'm convinced he actually is like borderline like psychotic in real life, Christian, to be fair, because he plays those characters
Well,
too
a
good.
man's 66, John. I thought he was amazing.
Yeah,
in
he's
that.
incredible.
Yeah.
He really is. But Stephen, he had Christopher Nolan
Mm.
doing the writing for his movies, so
Mhm.
it's fucking easy to act, isn't it? Well, it isn't. It's never easy to act like Christian does, but it's easier to act under a director like that who
Pav
has
says,
a clear path for you.
oh yeah, I almost forgot about the next Black Panther. Shuri is going to be the main character, right?
Is she?
Well,
I don't know about
I
that.
would be very
I mean,
surprised.
bring that up just now.
Yeah.
Steve, how excited are you for this Comic-Con? This is the first time in 2 years we're going to have people present
Yeah.
in the convention centre. And for me, that is a huge part of what makes this
As, yeah.
sort of experience what it is. The
It gives
shouts, the passion from the
It
crowd.
gives it the buzz, John, yeah. You're
the,
absolutely
the,
right.
the sort of panels, they feed off the energy. It was been missing.
We watched the Warner Brothers version 2 years ago, I think it was when they were premiering the Batman.
Yeah, DC fandom.
DC fandom.
Yeah.
It was okay, it was well presented. I thought they did their best with it, but there was just that element missing, the buzz of the crowd. You see it, obviously Star Wars Celebration as well, in the past that is, just having the fans there, the fandom, interacting with the cast and crew, and just the buzz around the arena. I mean, I've never been to anything like that because they are obviously...
And the ones we've got here are shit.
Yeah, we get...
The stormtrooper who bumped his
bumped
head on
his
the...
head. We don't get famous people.
Yeah, and we get the sort of like body double for Warwick Davis's Ewok character. That's what we... That's what we get here. We fucking... Our big name's Lance Henriksen, and look, he's great.
We get the guy that played the dead Ewok in Return of the Jedi,
Yeah, the body double for that guy.
That's the top villain.
That's who we get. So
yeah.
You'd have to get out of London, and even then London's Comic-Con isn't as good as San Diego's.
No, San Diego.
And New York isn't as good as San Diego.
Well,
it's
that,
tiered.
yeah.
It's like London, New York, San Diego.
Glasgow.
But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Buzzing for the panels as always.
Yeah.
The crowd in there. The big news. I don't know what they're going to announce here. One of the big things, and you've just alluded to it there, Shuri, who is going to be taking over as Black Panther? Is it going to happen in this movie? I don't know, man. I think it's potentially going to be a story of Wakanda as a whole, celebrating
I think that's
Wakanda.
why it's in the title, isn't it? It was
Yeah.
a way to sort of open that up and take it in a different direction, sadly. But
Letitia Wright's great. She's a
yeah.
great actor.
Yeah.
The Shuri character's almost
I
like
don't think she's
Tony
been in it
Stark.
enough. Yeah, she is, John, but it's in little like sort of sporadic
Spits,
bursts,
yeah.
isn't it? We're not seeing a lot of her, and every time I rewatch the first Black Panther film, and was it Infinity War or Endgame? It was Infinity War, wasn't
Infinity
it?
War, she was working on Vision.
Vision.
Never
And-
did. I mean, she was like
Yeah, every time I see her, I just-
rerouting his pathways and these
Yeah.
sort of
every
brain
time I
and-
see her, I just want more of her because it's a very interesting character, and I think this could be the one, John, that you've just mentioned it there. This could be the film that actually opens up her character to a broader audience and more of a responsibility in the MCU as well, standing in for Tony Stark, because I think a character like that would be very interesting to have in that sort of mould.
Do you want to see her as the next Black Panther? Because for me, I've laid my cards on the chest on the table, I should say. I don't know why I'd laid them on my chest. I've laid my cards on my chest so no one can see them. Now I'm laying them on the table for everyone to see. I want Michael B. Jordan to come back as
It would be a
Killmonger.
nice twist, wouldn't it?
He
Yeah.
did die,
Yeah.
but there is a precedent in the actual comics for them to take him. There's this sort of resurrection site in Wakanda. He can come back.
Yeah,
He
why
could
not?
Become Black Panther. And just the great friendship he
I
had
think he
off
would
screen
want to
with
do it, yeah.
Chadwick Boseman, I think that'd be brilliant, seeing that. And it's such a compelling character.
Yeah.
The whole story of him being left outside, he was like a leper.
It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle the character being missing from the second film.
Yeah. I'm not
I
sure.
don't know how
they do
they're
it.
going to do it, whether or not they're going to.
They've ruled out CG.
Yeah, and rotoscoping. It clearly didn't work in the Rise of Skywalker, which was. It was just very artificial looking.
I don't know if they
I
can
don't
do
know.
anything. I just genuinely don't know, because
don't
he was
know.
such a huge personality, and it would feel like it was wrong to kill him off.
But I think it'd be a
Camera as well.
disservice to ignore it as well, John.
Yeah.
You know, after his great performance, Chadwick Boseman's great performance in that
I
first
still can't
movie.
believe the guy's dead, by the way. It's
Yeah.
honestly shocking.
Yeah, John, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was shocking.
We did the Enter the Dragon review on the Friday night. I went home. I think I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw the news. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunned.
Because also,
Absolutely.
Steve and I hadn't even seen the last video of him on social
And
media,
we'd
so I
only-
wasn't aware of how bad he was.
We watched The Five Bloods before that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We knew, and we should have saw it. You know, a lot. You said,
But he
John,
still
a
looked
lot
good.
of people were saying he's lost a lot of weight and all that.
He did
Um,
look really bad in the
yeah.
last video, but the power of the man, he was still out there doing
Mm.
charitable work, trying to raise funds. I think it was baseball legend, I can't recall, 43 or something. 42, he was in the movie, he played the character.
Yeah.
That just showed you the measure of a man.
Yeah.
Even in this dark place, how bad his health was, he was still trying to raise funds.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a real shock to me. I hadn't seen the actual video. You actually relayed the news to me, Stephen, as you
Yeah,
usually do.
I know, John. I'm the
And
better
it
at bad
was,
things. Yeah.
I remember the air leaving my lungs. I could not believe it. It was a shock. But
Yeah.
I don't know how you replace that guy.
Yeah,
But
it's a tough one.
if anyone can do it, Ryan Coogler can do some magic with that. Star Wars, Stephen, are you excited for anything in terms of Star Wars for
The
this?
Mandalorian.
How
stuff,
much are we
John,
going to
as you
get
can
here?
tell. Yeah.
How much we're going to get at Comic Con for
Andor
Star
as
Wars?
well, which is a 12-part series, John.
Is
I've seen
Wow.
the posters for that being announced.
A 12 episode
12 episode, yeah.
first season?
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
yeah.
That's long.
I think it's 12. It's 9 or 12. I can't remember,
Sure,
John.
that's
but
not
it's-
the whole story over 3 seasons.
well, I don't think so.
Because it was
I don't
talk
think
that
so.
the first season would they were doing something with the timeline, and it was going to, I don't know, they were condensing it. Then there was a huge sort of period
It
they were
could
going to
be
explore.
maybe they're actually going to film everything and then break it up. I don't know. Maybe they've only got your man for so long.
Pedro Pascal. Oh no, Diego Luna.
Diego Luna, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they've only got him for a limited time and they're going to. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it said 12. I don't know. Maybe someone can correct.
Are you interested in Star Trek, Stephen?
Couldn't give a shit.
Are
Listen,
we?
Robert Meyer Burnett, who's the biggest Trekkie I know on social media and the interweb is not having a great loving with Star Trek at the moment. The way they're going down that road with a lot of the
TV shows,
the TV shows and stuff like that, it's just not buying into it. And I've never been the biggest Star Trek fan either. So,
well, I mean, they're doing a new movie potentially with the likes of Chris Pine, Zoe Saldana and stuff coming back. Carl Urban, and obviously your man, blanking on his name, terrible guy to play Spock.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, can't remember his name.
Shocking.
Yeah, strange looking dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to haunt me. Parker Animations, hype for Henry to be back. Hasn't been Superman for a while, he hasn't. Not been Superman for, what, 5 years?
Yeah.
2017 was Justice League, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did they shoot anything new for Zack Snyder's cut?
I think they did. I think they just recalled his suit.
Recalled his suit, yeah, black, yeah.
And fixed the moustache thing.
Can you tell that it's still working on my brain? Try to figure out the name of that character.
Zachary
Quinto.
Quinto, yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Wow. He's not been in anything that I'm aware of since Star Trek. I've not watched anything with him. I presume he's done work. I've just not seen it. Look, I quite like that cast, but then you've got the issue of obviously the late
Anton Yelchin
yeah. passing away. And
another one I couldn't believe, John.
Oh fuck, Steve, I remember that like it was yesterday as well. I was playing snooker.
Yeah.
And the news came through to my phone. He was the same age as me.
Yeah, shocking.
I'm like, wow, I think he was 27 when he passed away, so that's been a good 6 years.
It was the way he died as well. It was so tragic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, fucking hell. Shocking, because I loved him in Salvation. I'm one of the few people that like Salvation. No one seemed to like that movie. We went to the theatre to see that.
I thought it was good, John.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed the cinematography and stuff like that. But Stephen, I'm going to quickly ask you something. I know we don't want to overstay our welcome too much, because we've probably got I think we're doing an episode after this, aren't we? Sacred Games. So we need to get our skates on. But there was an article released, I believe Campea covered it. I watched the video and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
There was an article released, a sort of kiss and tell. I don't know, not literally kiss and tell. This woman didn't kiss and Zack Snyder and tell anything, but she sort of was looking into the toxic nature of fandom and of the Snyder Cut, the Snyder Cut sort of fandom. Revealed that I think something like 13% of the accounts on social media were duplicates or fakes pushing for this cut. That in itself was nothing. It was just the actual revelation she was revealing in this article that Zack Snyder had an awareness of the toxicity in his fandom and wasn't doing much to curtail it. In many ways he was actually encouraging it when things weren't going his way with DC. I'm intrigued to find what your thoughts are on that, because that doesn't... Obviously we don't know the veracity of these claims. Apparently the person who wrote the actual article, very well respected, a journalist, so not one for bullshitting. But that doesn't strike me as the type of guy Zack Snyder is. He seems a really wholesome, grounded, humble guy.
There's that as well, John, and
a great director.
It's a really good time to sort of pull something like that off, and being able to manipulate that. I don't know. It was like
Godzilla, the fucking Godzilla movie, Godzilla versus Kong. The director, he was pleading with him because the movie was being review bombed. Tell them to stop it, and he's like, I can't control my fan, I can't control what they're doing. And that was another criticism leveled. Well, he can't. He can't control what they're doing. He's one man. But I know you.
They do see him as a bit of a demigod, I suppose, in their own eyes. But in terms of that, I'm not really sure. I'd have to read the article. I can't really see it, to be honest with you. I don't think he's that full of himself or that invested in the Snyder Cut, as it's called. I think he got the film released, obviously, in a format that probably suited the length of the duration of his own vision. But I can't see it, to be honest with you. I think
there is an issue with toxic fandoms.
I still think that the Snyder Cut's it's okay. I just don't think the actual the Justice League thing just shouldn't have been made. It was just a bad idea,
Wasn't
in terms of the Joss Whedon one, which was an absolute shit show. Watching the Snyder Cut, some great stuff in there, some fixes as well. More Joker, which I thought was a wise move, but
more of...
I would not have lost sleep if they didn't even release it, to be honest with you. I moved on very quickly from it. I can't see it though. I think Zack Snyder he's a busy man, you know, and obviously in his personal life as well. I think he's had to cope with a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think the sort of fandom and
he was
manipulation. Wronged. Yeah, well, that's it as well.
He was wrong. There's no doubt about it.
But I don't think.
But there is an issue with fandoms in general on social media being very toxic when things don't go their way, the way they specifically want it to go. Star Wars has this issue for sure. Marvel probably has the issue. We just don't see it as much because everything seems to be rosy in Marvel most of the time.
Yeah.
DC's definitely got it. They've all got it. They've all got this toxicity, and it seems to be an offshoot of social media, Stephen, which I keep saying it's why I don't really frequent social media that much now, because I can't be arsed with the bickering, the anonymity, giving these people sort of brave pills, as we'd call it.
Yeah.
They feel that they can say what they want and do what they want.
Yeah.
They would never say these things to these people in real life.
No, of course not.
But because it's online, there's a degree of anonymity. It's just a toxic, horrible place, man. We've seen it with James Mangold doing Indiana Jones, what's it, 5, 4? I don't know, I've lost the plot.
5, yeah.
5. They were attacking him, attacking the movie it was a week into production.
Yeah.
And they were going after him, so it's a real issue, I think, with humans today. That's why I'm looking forward to Jordan Peele's Nope, which, by the way, is getting incredible reactions, as I knew it would.
Yeah.
Spectacle, human beings needing attention, that's what he's delving into. I want to see what this guy does with that. The backdrop of an alien abduction movie. I cannot wait to see that, but we've got a couple of comments.
We'll just finish up with the comments and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, do you want me to read it?
I think it's, Parv's probably the last one.
Never got on the Star Trek train either. I was a huge Next Generation fan growing up, I'm not going to lie. I loved Patrick Stewart. I had to think about that there.
Loved him that much.
Love Jean-Luc Picard and obviously Rijkaard, Wolf, Data, Geordie. Loved all of them, man. It's just there was not much else happening in the 90s TV wise, was there? I mean, it was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you had the sort of Friends and fucking
X-Files.
X-Files. I watched that as well, loved that. And then
Quantum Leap.
I mean, I say I watched X-Files, I didn't really, I was a little bit young for it, but
I
remember it being a thing. So I loved the original stuff because of my grandfather and his influence. So I've kind of liked Star Trek, but always been more a Star Wars man. And I can't blame anyone not getting on board. It's just horses for courses. Yeah. Different strokes and all that jazz. Is Batman of the Pattons, and am I right in reading this? Is Batman of the Pattons a superhero? He hits street bullies like a dog. He makes people mentally dramatised. I don't know, man. A superhero. I've never thought of Batman.
You said this the other day
as being a superhero.
Was it the Q&A you mentioned?
Yeah, I've always seen him as being
he's
a
an
flawed human being.
Yeah.
Who uses his wealth to hit back at society, hit back at the dregs of society, at the criminals. But he himself is not a holier than thou good man. But none of us are. That's what makes the character so compelling to me.
Yep.
He's a representation of real humans. We've all got darkness within us. We've all got demons, and we sometimes hit out. And the vigilanteism, that's just like a thing. And then some people view him as being a superhero. I don't think he is a superhero.
Yeah,
he does some really warped shit at times.
Bicky follows that up with, after seeing him, people feel the fear. He's not like Spider-Man. When you see him, you get happy. When you see him, you remember all the sins of your life. But that's what we're talking about earlier in terms of Marvel and DC. Different tonally, you know, and the perspective of where they're going with the character as well. Spider-Man, he's your friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. That's the way he's written. You know, he's supposed to be likeable. He's supposed to be out there. Although his identity is supposed to be a secret, very much the same as Batman. Batman he works in the shadows.
He does.
But yeah,
the shadows are his friend. He is the shadows.
Yeah.
That's why I like DC as a great. I don't know. I was about to call it an appetizer, but it isn't, because that's been totally horrendous towards DC. DC's more than an appetizer. It's a great sort of palate cleanser if you've watched a Marvel movie to go and watch a great DC movie, because they're so different.
Vice versa,
yeah, they do different things. They hit differently, and one isn't better than the other. They're just different. That's why I love Batman. Yeah. That's why I love Superman. And that's why I want to see Henry Cavill back, because he represents a different kind of Superman to me. He's not as clean cut. The subway is still the safest and most reliable form of transport in this city. I mean, that was Christopher Reeve's Superman. That's completely different to Henry Cavill's Superman. Yeah. And that's why I want to see more of Henry Cavill before it's too fucking late and we can't get that version again. So hopefully he is coming back. Would you like a dark Spider-Man movie? I'd like to have one with Andrew Garfield. It will be interesting to see how he changed after losing Gwen. Well, I mean, we kind of seen that, didn't we? No Way Home. He didn't change too much. He just kind of lost a bit of confidence. Didn't have the verve that maybe Tobey Maguire's one had.
Andrew Garfield was the best thing in the film for me.
Oh, he was,
I
yeah.
thought he was outstanding. In his limited time, I just thought it was up for it. You know, he was bringing his A game to the performance.
That moment where he catches MJ.
It was hairs in the back of the neck moment. Especially obviously what happened to Gwen. A dark Spider-Man, I'm not really sure. They've kind of went there before with the third movie, Sam Raimi's third movie, and I didn't really like it, to be honest with you. Spider-Man's the eternal optimistic character, isn't he?
Exactly. He represents the sort of youth.
Yeah. And I don't really want to see them doing that with Andrew Garfield. If he's going to get a third movie, I don't really want to see them change him in many ways, because The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 were poor films, but Andrew Garfield's performance and his portrayal of Peter Parker and Spider-Man wasn't the issue. Keep him the way he is, because he does it really well, but they really do have to come up with a good story for him.
I want to see him come back though, for sure. I want to see him and Tobey come back and do more movies. And now we have this multiverse, and Raimi's there. I think Tobey will be back. Well, Andrew, I'd love to see Andrew come back, man. I think he's a great guy, brilliant actor.
I think Sony might do something, John.
It's possible, yeah, it's possible.
In the Sonyverse, I don't know.
I'd love to
I
see
think
it.
he deserves more than that, actually. He does deserve to be in the MCU rather than the Sonyverse, which I'm not really that too.
Well, I mean, if Tom doesn't get his
about.
skates on and actually sign a new deal, because he hasn't yet, we maybe get one of these other guys coming in to play Spider-Man in the MCU.
Yeah.
Which would be fine for me.
Yeah.
I like Tom, but move on.
Grow up.
Well, that's going round it up.
Yeah.
That is going round it up. We touched on the toxic nature of fandom. We touched on Comic-Con, but primarily, and yes, I said primarily instead of primarily, which is what I would normally do, because I'm going full Partridge. He likes to change the pronunciations of words at times. Primarily, we discussed Henry Cavill coming back as Superman. Will it happen? Well, they're suggesting it is going to happen at the San Diego Comic-Con, Hall H. It will be quite a moment. I will be there. Will you be there or be square? What's your thoughts? Comment down below if you've got anything to say about it. About fandoms and the toxic nature within. About Comic-Con in general. You look forward to seeing people back in Hall H at that convention centre, whooping and shouting and getting all excitable, surely sweating. I bet it's honking, but they're having a great time, so it don't matter much. You get that amount of geeks in the one place,
Sweaties.
it ain't going to smell that good. But comment down below if you've got anything to say at all. We appreciate the comments, and we appreciate Parv and Bicky and Parker Animations, and I'm just going to go through them all.
Yeah, why not? Rake.
Go through them all. Rake.
Yeah.
And Matthew himself, Scottish Midge, Gamers Family, all coming in and commenting.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Continue the love after.
Are we leaving already? Yes,
we are leaving, because we have to go and record another reaction. We're getting to the end of Sacred Games.
Yeah.
Now the end is here, and now I've reached my final curtain. Sinatra. We'll end on Sinatra. Who thought we'd go to Sinatra? Not me, that's for sure. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Do the same over on Twitch, hit the follow button over there, hit the notifications button over there to do these, get the exact same results, but it's on a different platform. And in many ways a better platform, just not one we have any audience on, sadly. Regardless of what you do, thank you for fucking watching, and until next time, me and Stephen are done. Bye bye. Gamers fam, I'm going to end by reading your comment, which I completely ignored. Yeah, Becky, when you see his Batman logo tonight, you remember what bad things you did in your life. Yes. Thankfully, I'm a clean-cut, morally righteous individual.
Swell kind of guy.
So I don't have to worry about seeing the Bat logo in the sky. I'm on his side.
I'm a pretty neat guy.
I, too, am one with the shadows. I am Batman. Bye.